Shalom, people. Welcome back, everybody, to Each One Reach One. We're continuing Christianity versus the Bible. Let us give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai, Wahara Kakadash. All right, we're going to pick up today in Revelation chapter 5, verse 8. And we're still identifying via the scriptures who are the saints. So we're just going through and we're picking out instances where the saints are being referred to, and we're utilizing, context clues, and we're utilizing what we've learned prior in order to build a complete understanding. And again, there's somebody out there who needs it to be done in this way, exhaustive, right? It has to be an exhaustive study. It has to be laid out like in its entirety, because one, a lot of people are stubborn. Some are just, their cognitive dissonance is at a higher level. You got to understand people will not readily just abandon their belief system. It might have taken someone a lifetime before they finally came into their belief system. They heard something over and over and over again, and then finally, they succumbed to becoming a believer in whatever it is they believe in. Or they might, go to church all the time, and they're wrapped around the pastor's finger, and he got them. They're under the spell, and they've been under it for a long time. They're not going to just come out that easily. You can't just undo all of that indoctrination with one video, with one sitting, with one conversation. That's why I'm doing all these videos, because I don't want to have to be having a bunch of conversations with people. I want to say, go look at this playlist, because I know I can't teach you everything in one sitting. I saw a guy on Facebook, and he made a comment. Well, so God, he killed his son instead of killing Satan. Make that make sense, right? Why he just gonna kill his own son instead of just going and killing Satan? That don't make no damn sense. But I get it. I get it why it doesn't make sense to him. But there's no way I could have hit him up and said, hey man, let me explain to you. Let me help you understand this. I couldn't jump on the post and write him a post, a comment, reply that was gonna get him to understand. It still wasn't gonna make sense. It was gonna be too much typing required, and it's easy to misunderstand something that's written. You gotta hear it verbally, right? So I felt it's stronger. It's more powerful to be able to refer people to a video study, right? Than to just simply tell them something and hope they get it off of one short conversation, or to type something out to people, right? In this day and age of people communicating via social media platforms where they're typing stuff out to one another, right? Okay, so this is what that's for, because you never know, how the Most High is going to utilize this work. I'm gonna make it and then sit here, and people will come across it. People will come across it. I don't go out looking for people to push it to or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I let the Most High work organically. Like I said, I just help create the place for them to drink, and he leads them to the water. That's how I operate, because I have no desire for vainglory, no desire for fame, or no props, no pats on the backs, not a big subscriber count. I don't need any of that. I'm just here to do the work. And I trust the Most High via his spirit. He'll lead people to the information. He'll lead it to them. All you got to do is make it. And make it available, put it out there, and the Most High will lead them to it if he want them to have it. That's my understanding. Whoever he wants you to be the one to reach, he'll bring them across your platform. He'll bring them, your direction. So you don't got to go looking for them. Okay. All right. So with that said, Revelation chapter 5, verse 8. And when he had taken the book, which is Yahweh Shai, when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, who was Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of saints. not the prayers of all the people of the world, of all the people on the planet, of all the people on the earth, of all believers, of all Christians. No, of the prayers of saints. The prayers of saints. Okay, now, if you have been building upon our previous lessons, then you get it. This isn't one of those instances where I need to use a bunch of context clues in order to get you to understand. This is one of those where I utilize all that other stuff so that in this instance, you would understand here who the saints are, because not in every occasion do you get enough context clues in order to point directly to who it's talking about. It's assumed you know who's been spoken of in certain instances. And here, it's assumed that anybody reading the scriptures understand who the saints are, because this is written for the Israelites, and Israelites know who the saints are. That's why it's assumed that they know who the Israelites are. And it doesn't just specifically specify. That's what I'm looking for. It doesn't just specify who they are, because it's assumed that the reader knows exactly who they are. It's assuming that the reader is of Israel. That's what it's assuming, because it's written to and for and by Israel. Revelation 8:3. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, and there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all saints upon the golden altar, which was before the throne. And the smoke of the incense, which came with the prayers of the saints, ascended up before the Most High out of the angel's hand. Again, to the saints. It's talking about the saints, not just anybody, not everybody who believes. The saints specifically, and the saints only, because this is by and for Israel. Not everybody can make themselves a partaker in the scriptures. You cannot include yourselves in the plan of salvation that the Most High has created for his people, for a chosen group of people. You cannot just include yourselves. All right? Revelation 11 and 18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. And this is really specifically a certain nation of people who are responsible for the bulk of the destruction on the earth. When he says he should give reward unto thy servants, who are the prophets. Prophets were Israelites, right? And to the saints, meaning all of Israel, right? And them that fear thy name is another one of those occasions where you see in the and, but it's not separating values. It's not separating, you know what I mean? These are not different. They're not separate, right? The prophets are saints. And the prophets and saints are those that fear the name of the Most High. The small and great among Israel. Okay? Revelation chapter 13, verse 7. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints. Again, proof that the saints have to be a nation of people. You don't go You don't just go to war with believers. Countries go to war with countries. People groups go to war with people groups, right? So we got to use that. And this is a time where you got to use common sense and worldly understanding to decipher who are the saints if you were to read this as a standalone. But it's not a standalone because everything that you saw up to this point has already told you who the saints are, right? It's already been told to you who they are. And if you read all of this chapter and you apply what happened in the world and you understand that this prophecy has come to pass, then you would be able to point to who the saints are based off of those context clues. But I'm not going to go into all that. Study for yourself. All right. Again, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nation. So it was a certain group of people who was given power over all kindreds and tongues and nations. They went to war with the saints. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword, or gun, you could say. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. The saints were a highly persecuted, oppressed, and trampled on people because they were the people of the Most High. They were led into captivity. That's why it says, he that leadeth into captivity, meaning those who led the saints, the Israelites, into captivity shall go into captivity. He who killed the Israelites with the sword, meaning weapon of war, whatever weapon that is that was used, must be killed via the same. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints, because its patience is required. Because these people would go for a long time without being avenged, a long time getting done this way. And it would be in the end that they would be saved, and they have to have faith. The saints need faith in order to give them patience to wait for the end time when they will be avenged by their power. So that means in the end time, which is now, the saints would have to be the people who are on the bottom of society everywhere they are around the earth. Now be honest. Who do you think those people are? If you don't understand and believe those people are so-called Negroes, so-called Indians, and so-called Latinos that are of Negro descent, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Revelation chapter 14. The Lamb and the 144,000 on Mount Zion. See, I'm going to come back to this. I'm not going to read everything here because I'm on the subject of the saints right now, but we're going to come back to this, see, because we have to talk about this. The Lamb, Yahushua the Savior, and the 144,000 who are the elect. And Christians, they believe they are of the elect But let me ask you this, Christian. Do you understand how many millions and millions and millions and fucking millions of Christians there are in the world? If only 144,000 people are among the elect, how are all you Christians, believers, the church that's going to get raptured? If it's the 144,000 that's going to get quote unquote raptured or taken out of here, redeemed out of the earth before the great tribulation. But again, we'll come back to this. Right now, we're specifically talking about, we're addressing saints, right? Specifically addressing the saints. So yeah, with that said, I'm just gonna skip this altogether because it don't make no sense to do a double. Just know we're gonna come back to that. All right, Salakia, pardon me, you guys, for starting and stopping on you there, but no, I'm gonna save that because again, I wanted that to be the end, the absolute end of the lesson. I'm not gonna go over it now and then come back to it. I'm just gonna skip it now and then do it properly at the end the way I plan to. All right, so let us get verse 3 of chapter 15. All right. Matter of fact, no, let's just start from the top. Revelation 15:1. A scene of heaven. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of the Most High. And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of the Most High. And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of the Most High. But see, this is where the Christians are going to start having a problem. I know you're having an issue right now, because how are you Christians going to sing the song of Moses, the servant of the Most High, when you don't even believe the Old Testament should still be regarded? You think everything of the Old Testament should be thrown away. You don't read it. You don't study it. How are you even going to understand what this is talking about? Those in heaven are going to sing the song of Moses. Who would know this? Maybe the people that were under the law of Moses. Maybe the people who were Moses's people. Maybe. Who were that? Who were they? Israelites, right? Israel, right? Yes. Christian believers wouldn't have any idea what this is about. It wouldn't be possible for them to sing the song of Moses, the servant of the Father, and they disregard the Old Testament in its entirety. But that was the Old Testament. That was done away with. See what I'm saying? There they have a conflict, right? And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of the Most High, and the song of the Lamb, saying, great and marvelous are thy works, Lord power almighty. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. Thou King of saints. And again, you know who this refers to if you've been paying attention to my other studies. Saints is always a reference to Israel. I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel, sent by the Father to recover Israel. Why? Because he's the King of saints. Right? All right. Revelation chapter 16, verse 5. And I heard the angel of the waters say, thou art righteous, O Lord, which art and wast and shall be, because thou hast judged thus. For they have shed the blood of saints and the prophets. See, saints and prophets, another one of those places where you're supposed to see that these are the same. They go hand in hand, because the saints were prophets. The prophets were saints. Right? And thou hast given them blood to drink, for they are worthy. They have shed the blood of the Israelites. The saints, Israelites. Revelation chapter 17, verse 6. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Listen, I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. This woman refers to the harlot being America, being the United States. She's drunken with the blood of the saints, which people were heavily killed and persecuted here in this land. And with the blood of the martyrs of Mashiach, Yahushua. Right? See, again, you guys are going to have a hard time understanding because for one, many don't even understand that the true indigenous people of this land were Hebrew Israelites. The real Indians, the real indigenous folks, not the ones you call Native Americans who are, you know, Eskimo and from Siberia and, you know what I'm saying, of Asian origin, from Asian stock, from Mongoloid stock. I'm talking about those who are from Negroid stock. But because you don't understand that history exists, many of you aren't even going to understand what I just said. You're going to say, well, wait a minute, the people who were heavily killed here, okay, we know that, you know, Negroes were killed here, but you know, what about all of the Native Americans? What about all of the indigenous people? And you ain't going to have any idea that we're talking about the same thing, except we're not talking about the same thing because you don't even understand who those people were truly. You were lied to about history, like you were lied to about this book. But let us continue. Verse 18, chapter 18, verse 24. All right. And in her, and here in America, and in her was found the blood of prophets, meaning Israel. Anytime he says prophets, it's talking about Israelites. And in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints. Prophets and saints being referenced hand in hand again. And you know the prophets were Israelites and you know the saints are Israelites. So put it together. And of all that were slain upon the earth, right? Revelation chapter 19, verse 8. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white. For the fine linen is the righteousness of saints. See how I said white here, but it didn't need to say white like wool in order to express to you that this color was white. So again, you understand in Revelation chapter 1, verse 14, when it's describing the hair, it's telling you hair color and hair texture when it says white like wool. White and like wool, or white, comma, like wool. Right? Marriage of the Lamb. This is another chapter we're going to come back to in the end when we're closing out this study, when we're talking about who the elect are exactly. Because again, we've seen it throughout all the reading, who the chosen elect are, but Revelation just completely just spells it out in plain language and leaves no place for confusion. Okay, so we're going to get that at the end. Since Revelation is the end of the book, we're going to come back and close out with that. Okay, so Revelation chapter 20, verse 9. And again, I'm not trying to get all of the context. That's why I'm just picking out verses and I'm not reading the whole chapters or a bunch of verses, is because, again, I'm just pointing out instances and showing that, the book is specific to the saints, because by this time, we've already laid the groundwork on who the saints are. So now seeing in Revelation, every time it's referring to the saints and end time prophecy and so forth, who the saints are that it's talking about now. By now, you know who they are now. Okay? So, Revelation chapter 20, verse 9. Okay, this is the time when I'll come back a little bit. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. And they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about in the beloved city. And fire came down from the Most High out of heaven and devoured them. So in the end, one of the last things is going to happen before the white throne judgment is going to be the day of the Lord, right? What a lot of people call Armageddon. It's going to be the final show before the kingdom, all right? When these other nations are going to come together and they're going to come and try to come against the saints, the Israelites. And fire came down from the Most High out of heaven and devoured them, because the Heavenly Father is going to fight for his people and save them in that final battle, which won't even be a battle. It's not going to be a fight. These people are going to puff their chests out and they're going to come against the saints of the Most High. And he's just going to wipe them out, because these people are very important to him. This isn't a group of believers. This is a nation of people. All right? All right. All right. So no, let's get out of here, because again, I'm going to be doing double work. If I read this right now, I'll save this again for the end when I get into the 144,000. Matthew chapter 19. Let's go there. That's 18, Joe, 1:19. Matthew chapter 19, verse 28. Verse 27. Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have, therefore? And Yahushua said unto them, Verily, verily, well, just one verily, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me, in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, doing what? Judging the 12 tribes of Israel. What are they going to be doing? What are these people going to be doing? Remember, who's he speaking to? His apostles and disciples, right? Who are Israelites, right? And he says in the regeneration, when the Son of Man, meaning himself, Yahushua, the Son of the Most High, when he sits in the throne of his glory, this means at the end of the movie, right? When he returns and he's sitting in the throne of his glory, ye, elect men of Israel, also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Why not judging? Why did I say judging all the earth? Judging the 12 tribes of Israel. There's a reason for that. But again, the important thing to understand here is that he's an Israelite speaking to Israelites about the end of times when he returns, and he's only talking about Israelites. Israelites sitting on 12 thrones and being judges over the 12 tribes of Israel. That's what's going to that's the reward for the 12 apostles. Right? Because there's hierarchy. And then under them are the 144,000 who Christians, they badly want to be one of them. And the 144,000 are going to be the elect men, the judges and rulers over the earth. The kings and princes, the priests. You got to be a man to be a king or a prince. And if you understand the Most High, you understand that you also have to be a man in order to be a ruler or a judge or a governor or a priest. Did I already say priest? I already said priest. Somebody needed to hear it again because they were stubborn and probably missed it the first time. Right? Okay. So let's get Luke 22. Luke 22 and 24. And there was also a strife among them, among the apostles, which of them should be accounted the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And he said unto them, the kings of the Gentiles exercise lordship over them, and they that exercise authority upon them are called benefactors. But ye shall not be so. See, he just showed that there's a difference between the Gentiles and his people. That in the kingdom, when the Israelites get the kingdom, it's not going to be the way it is. We won't rule the same way the heathen nations, the Gentiles by blood, the way they rule. It's going to be a difference. Right? But he that is greatest among you, let him be as the younger, and he that is chief as he that doth serve. Right? Look what he says. Verse 28. Ye are they which have continued with me in my temptations, and I appoint unto you a kingdom, as my Father hath appointed unto me. I have appointed unto you a kingdom, he says to them, to these Israelites. So who's the kingdom for? You Christians say that Israel has been thrown away for unbelief, and that all believers now of Christianity, have supplanted the Israelites. That's not what the book says. That's not what Yahweh Shai says, who you call Jesus. That ain't what he said. That ain't what the Father said. The Father, his Son, the prophets, the apostles, the disciples, the scriptures all say Christianity is a doctrine of devils. It is a lie agreed upon, just like history. A lie agreed upon. And I appoint unto you a kingdom, as my Father has appointed unto me, that ye, elect men of Israel, may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom, and sit on thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel, because the kingdom of heaven is only for Israel. That's why there's no mention here of spiritual Israelites or heathens or Gentiles. It's all about the 12 tribes of Israel in its entirety. That's what it's about. So go back to Acts, chapter 1. I think I missed something. Acts chapter 1, verse 4. And being assembled together with them, commanded them that they should not depart from Jerusalem, but wait for the promise of the Father, which saith he, ye have heard of me. For John truly baptized with water, but ye shall be baptized with the Holy Spirit not many days thence. Why didn't he tell his men that they had to be baptized with water the way John baptized with water? Because it's not something that he wanted them to go through. It's not something that he was commanding. It's not something that they had to do. But why not? Why do you have to do it in your church? Why does Catholicism push that? Baptism by water. Why do Christianity push baptism by water? See, because they misunderstand the scriptures. But like the Most High said, it is not given unto them to understand. See, because they take things out of context. They take things the wrong way. When the Most High talk about being baptized by water, he's talking about the water, which is the word. The word, that's the water. But they take it literally because they have not been given the true understanding. And that's who you follow. You follow people who have not been given the understanding of the scripture. They're trying to interpret as best as they can because the mysteries haven't been revealed unto them. Right? Job chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Who is the wicked according to the Bible? Well, look around. Who's the wicked right now? Who's the wicked of the earth? Who is the earth in the hands of right now? Because the earth has indeed been given into the hand of the wicked. And what people rule the world? What people are at the top right now, ruling the earth? Well, they are the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. The judges are the Israelites, who during the Renaissance began to whitewash all of history. That's covering the faces of the judges. They covered the faces of the Israelites. They wrote the Israelites out of history. And they took on our culture and our heritage, took it from us, took it upon themselves, split it up between them and all their other cohorts, began to repaint murals and, art and other forms of crafts and arts and things out there that show who the people are. They start painting over everything. They start destroying monuments and statues and artifacts and everything else. They made Yahushua, the son of the Father, a white man with blue eyes or brown eyes, whatever they wanted to be, and pale skin and brown hair or whatever. But the Bible tells you he was a dark-skinned man with white woolly hair, changing him into a white man. That's covering the faces of the judges. Who did that? That's how you find out who the wicked are. And it deals with nations. And if therefore you belong to that people group or those people groups, how can you then believe salvation is for you and you are going to be raptured away and saved from the time of trouble just by believing, being part of Christianity and believing in Jesus, who is not the Son, which is not the Son's name. It's not the Son of the Most High. It's not his name. And the image you have in your head of him is not his image. You completely disrespect him. You're going to be dealt with. You better know you are going to be dealt with without a doubt. You can't escape it. You can't get away from it at all. At all. It's Psalm 71 and 4. Deliver me, O my power, out of the hand of the wicked, out of the hand of the unrighteous and cruel man. And this indeed is what he will do. This is what he promised to do for his people, Israel. This is what he promised to do. Remember, Psalms are written by Israelites to Israelites. Okay? You know who the wicked is, who the wicked are. The people who are his people would still be in the hand of the wicked in the end time when he returns. Come on, Christians. How are ye the saints? How are ye the people who are going to be saved? What do you need to be saved from? Your people are the ones in power. Many of you. Your people are the wicked. You are of the wicked. You're the unrighteous and cruel seed. You are not at the bottom. You are not a persecuted people. What do you need salvation from? Psalm 82 and 4. Deliver the poor and needy, rid them out of the hand of the wicked. Who are the poor and needy? By and large, I say, because there's somebody going to say, well, but there are poor white people too. But for the most part, the poor and needy everywhere around the world are the Negro indigenous population, or the Negro population, I should say, of that land, right? Look what he says after this. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. That's the truth. Everything is upside down. The earth is out of course. The earth is absolutely out of course. And the wicked, they do not know. Many of y'all don't even know that you're the wicked. You don't know that you are the wicked seed and that you're set for destruction. You think because you're in Christianity, you get salvation. You have no idea that destruction is meant for you because you have persecuted the children of the Most High. Neither will they understand, meaning they can hear this, they can sit down and watch all the videos of this series, and they'll still say, that's bullshit. That's bullshit, Bob. That's bullshit, Jane. Let's get out of here. This fucking Negro, he lost his fucking mind. Saying, oh, Jesus is a black man. Saying Jesus is a Negro. I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. This is the so-called Negro. Listen, this is the people who you've persecuted and stomped on. Ye are gods. And guess what they're going to return to again in the end? Yeah, they're going to return. We're going to return into gods again. We are the children of the Most High. Did you think he was going to let you go unpunished, just allow you to keep stomping on us forever? See, that's because you didn't understand the scripture. You didn't understand that our punishment had an expiration attached to it. Your rulership and your time on the top had an expiration attached to it. See, I have said ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High, but ye shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. Why? Because we disobeyed him. We went astray. So we had to pay a price for our disobedience, for our wickedness. And if we, his children, had to pay a great price for our wickedness, and we had to die. We had to be killed. We had to be taken into captivity and become slaves of all the nations around the world. What do you think he's going to do to you? If he punished his own children the way he did, what do you think he's going to do to you when it's your turn to begin to pay for your iniquities? You think he's going to allow you to get out of it because you're in Christianity? You think you're going to get out of trouble because you call on Jesus? No, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. You got 1,000 years of retribution at the hands of the Israelites on its way. You better get prepared for it. Isaiah chapter 97. I'm sorry, Psalms 97, verse 10. Ye that love Yahweh hate evil. He preserveth the souls of his saints. He preserveth the souls of his saints, not everybody. The souls of his saints he preserveth. He delivereth them out of the hand of the wicked. That's his promise. He's going to deliver his saints, who are Israelites, out of the hand of the wicked. And you wicked are walking around here calling yourselves Christians, masquerading as righteous people, when righteousness is far from you. You come from a wicked seed. Your forefathers were wicked, responsible for some of the worst atrocities ever committed in human history. And the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You will be judged. Except those of you who the Most High has given to you a blessing, because you've been a blessing unto his people Israel. You will get to cleave unto Israel. But you don't get to bypass Israel. You don't get to replace Israel. You don't get to receive the inheritance of Israel. No. Israel will receive their inheritance. And truth be told, you Gentiles, you heathens, you are part of that inheritance. You will become the property of the Israelites, the people who was once your property. When you guys have the rallying cry, make America great again, because you badly wish you can go back to the days of slavery. The joke is on you, because you are going back to the days of slavery. Except you're going to be the slaves this time. That's the funny part. That's the irony. That is the sense of humor of the Most High. Psalms 14, verse 7. Oh, that salvation of Israel will come out of Zion. That the salvation of Israel will come out of Zion. Because why? Zion is the southern kingdom. It's Judah. That's the tribe that Yahushua, the son of the Most High, came out of. He is the salvation of Israel, and he came out of Zion. Oh, that the salvation of Israel will come out of Zion when Yahweh bringeth back the captivity of his people, meaning when he takes away his judgment against his people and he removes them from the captivity of their oppressors. Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad. That's coming. That time is coming when we will no longer be in the hands of our enemies, but our enemies will be in our hands for eternity. You will be our property for an eternity. You will be the subjects of the kingdom of heaven. We, the rulership of the kingdom of heaven, and the rulership over the entire earth, over all of the cosmos. You have been stomping on your future rulers for generations. because your future rulers had to go through this. We committed iniquity, and we had to learn what wickedness was before we can rule for an eternity. We had to learn righteousness and wickedness in order for us to rule perfectly the way our Father has set it up for us to rule for an eternity. He had to train us before he can just give us eternity, give us immortality and God's status, and give us the earth and everything out there in the cosmos. He had to first train us and make us responsible enough for what he was going to hand over to us. We weren't ready, but we're coming to ripeness now in fullness. And it's almost time for us to receive our inheritance. Be afraid. Be absolutely afraid. If you know an Israelite, a so-called Negro, you better get right with them immediately, especially if they are of the elect, especially if they are one of the remnant, the 1/3 of Israel. Psalm 33, verse 12. Blessed is the nation whose power is Yahweh, and the people whom he hath chosen for his inheritance. You see that? He has a certain people, a nation, not a collection of believers. He has a nation. It says, blessed is the nation whose power is Yahweh, because he's the power of one people, a certain nation, and the people whom he hath chosen for his inheritance. The Israelites were chosen for his inheritance. The Israelites belong unto him. The Israelites will receive everything that belongs to him. He's going to give to his children. He created everything for us. Everything you see was created for us, and we lost it because of disobedience, but it was never meant to be taken away from us forever. The time of our punishment has come to its end. And the message to the rest of you nations is it's your turn. But as he promised, he will be a blessing. He will bless those that bless Israel, and he will curse those who curse Israel. That's why it's important for you to understand who Israel truly is. Otherwise, you will be blessing the wrong people and persecuting the wrong people, and you're going to be in trouble. The great tribulation is soon upon us. We are in the beginning of sorrows. Now is the time to correct your ship. Now is the time. With that said, let us give all praise, honor, and glory to the Holy One of Israel and his Redeemer, Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Malak Yahweh Shai, Wahara Kakadash. I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay tuned. Shalom.